I know that in the world of fiction and anime there are characters who capture our imagination and inspire us to aspire for greatness, and Ayanokoji Kiyotaka is definitely one of them. However, you will never become like Ayanokoji Kiyotaka, not even close, due to multiple reasons that you might not be aware of. If you are a person who can't tolerate criticism and honesty, then you made your ego get the best of you, and that's why I kindly asked you to deal with it before watching the rest of this video. Either way, you are welcome. To be clear, though we might not be able to be exactly like him, but we should aspire to be because it gives us unlimited inspiration and motivation. We should just be aware of our limitations. Ayanokoji's character traits are deliberately exaggerated to create a compelling story. The narrative often demands larger-than-life elements to keep the audience engaged, which might not align with the limitations and nuances of real-life scenarios. While we can admire his intelligence and resourcefulness, we should remember that real people have imperfections and limitations that contribute to their individuality. I know that this is an obvious take, but it had to be mentioned. In the 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene basically says that a great deceiver doesn't look like a deceiver. The main reason why people try to look like manipulators is that they are trying to look cool and charismatic. But the problem is that when you do that, people no longer trust you and they guard themselves from you, making it nearly impossible to deceive them. The solution for that is to not focus on your self-image. Instead, focus on the effectiveness of your moves. You don't read books. Think about it. If Ayanokoji Kiyotaka was a real person, he would have been the author of the light novel, because he's the one who wrote the character and included the ideologies in the story. A lot of the ideas in the light novel are not original. They are inspired from a lot of books. Certainly the author have read many books and articles that led him to write such an interesting character, and the evidence of that is the quotes of philosophers in the beginning of each episode. So the apparent thing to do is to read many books, especially those on philosophy and psychology. If you are just beginning and you don't feel like you have the passion of reading, I suggest you to read about a subject that you are highly interested in and watch summaries of books. Personally, this have worked well for me, and I'm sure it will work for you too. You are not trying to continuously better yourself. You should always try to level up something in your life, even if you improve by only 1% every day. With time, the compound effect will make it large. For example, if you work out 1 hour a day for 5 years, you will have built an amazing physique compared to training only 1 day a week for 9 hours, which will not only not improve your physique, but it will potentially harm your joints' health and can even lead to muscle catabolism. If you want to know more about this principle, I greatly suggest you to read Atomic Habits. It will be a revolutionary book for you. Perhaps you go into phases in your life when you feel motivated and optimistic. However, when that pump of motivation disappears, you no longer improve yourself, because motivation is like fuel, and when that fuel is no longer available, you can't move. Or sometimes what happens is that you keep improving yourself in one area in your life and you see yourself progress drastically, which obviously feels good, but it might boost your ego too much, which leads to feeling as if you don't need improvement anymore. And if you no longer feel that sense of urgency, then you have no motive to level up in life. The solution to this is not easy, and it can't be summarized, especially when we all suffer from it. The best that can be done is to do your own research on the matter. You can't control your emotions. Like it or not, emotions are what drives people to action. For instance, if you have a positive emotional reaction to a song, you are more likely to listen to it again. So actions begin with an emotion first. What you should conclude from that is that in order to get rid of a bad habit, you should stop and reflect on your emotions when you crave that behavior and direct your thinking to something else. This way, you will have distracted your mind from that emotion that is responsible for the bad habit. How many times you acted on your emotional reaction and you regretted it? I think all of us have experienced it multiple times in our lives. You should also control your thoughts by distracting the thoughts that trigger negativity. Perhaps when you lay on your bed waiting to fall asleep, you keep getting flashbacks to some of the most cringy moments in your life. If that happens to you, don't respond inside your head to yourself. Don't address it at all. Just target your focus to something else. I know that it's so difficult at first, but with constant practice, it will become a habit that you apply subconsciously. You share too much with people. As humans, we like to share our thoughts and experiences with others in order to bond with other people, because it gives us a higher possibility of survival, and we don't like the feeling of being alone with our thoughts and problems. However, the danger starts when you become unconscious of this habit, because you end up talking and sharing way too much. And the issue with talking too much, especially if you do it subconsciously, is that in the majority of situations, it can lead to making you share private informations which can possibly be used against you or can harm your reputation. Sharing more than necessary can also make you seem childish and immature. In short, you will never become like Aina Koji because you aren't aware of the fictional boundaries between anime and real life, and you also focus on looking cool and smart rather than keeping a low profile and working your magic in the shadows. You also don't have a habit of reading books, which makes you stuck in the thinking patterns which society has set for you, and you are unable to control your emotions because you are unaware of the correlation between emotions and actions. Lastly, you share too much with people. It is a human instinct to do that, but you must moderate it so it won't damage you in the future. Aina Koji can be a very inspiring character, but it's essential to reflect on the situation to make better decisions. Aina Koji Kiyotaka, just like any character in the world, whether in real life or fiction, if it's a strong one, then it is admired by society. It doesn't matter if it's good or evil, because all people care about is status.